Well, a little bit more whackademia. We've got some great stories here. This story about decolonising maths, is it that they want to decolonise, James?
Well, yeah, it's maths, and it's happening across British universities. Now, this decolonisation thing is one of the silliest things ever. It basically means, you know, even the hard scientists, mathematics are not safe. And in fact, actually, right now, just now, a viewer has just sent me another note that Oxford University is going to decolonise its computing degree and emphasize the slavery links to machine learning. So this just goes to show how bonkers it is. There is one little bit, though, in the Spectator piece about the British decolonisation thing, which is interesting because they also say that they want to talk about how statistics, and in statistics in the past, you know, people who supported eugenics and things like that use statistics to support their arguments. I would love it then if they went even further and said, you know, eugenics and all these horrible race-based things, 100 years ago, these were settled science, just like so many other things are. Yep. There is a little opportunity here to teach some humility about science, but they're going to ignore it, and they're just going to go with more of this woke nonsense, and in fact, trash the brands of great British universities like Oxford, like Cambridge, and so on.
Oh, and we're seeing it happen in Monash University here. We'll see it in other universities. And we've got so many junk degrees also just adding to higher education being trashed. It really is quite sad. And yeah, there's some learning tools that they use in critical race theory where they say 2 + 2 = 4 is an example of systematic racism.
Yeah.
It's an example of this mindset that is steeped in white supremacy. Again, I would bring to your attention, you know, mathematics, who excels in mathematics, where it all started, and, you know, who is sort of leading the way now. And it ain't typically white people. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
so you're actually upsetting a lot of migrant communities with this nonsense, because they're the ones who get most impacted.
But the bigger agenda is always to make people, you know, with all of these sorts of Orwellian Marxist sort of language games where there's 2 + 2 = 4, or, you know, men need to go get a pap smear, all of these different things that we've been told are perfectly normal things to say. You know, it is about keeping people off balance, and so that they have, you know, when you start to attack the actual hard physical sciences, you're saying that there is no solid ground, that these things will always be shifting, and you have to watch what you say, and you have to watch your step, lest you get in trouble with the woke commissars.
And it's also saying you will only get approval, you will only get business success or work or get a job with the government if you always stick to the script that you were given and never question it.
And if it changes, you have to change.
But easy to decolonise the universities, decolonise their funding. Let's just decolonise their funding, give them no more money until they concentrate on normal teaching, the 3 R's, teaching proper things, teaching engineering without the social engineering, etc. Rita, this is the problem. We've had successive coalition governments who could have stepped in and at no point ever did. And they are now reaping all this nonsense.
Yeah, because they're too good for the so-called culture wars. They just want to focus on surpluses. There's no jobs in the culture wars, especially Scott Morrison's job. But this is why someone like DeSantis and someone like Trump was so crucial, because with DeSantis, he doesn't just play defence when it comes to the culture wars. He plays offence. He's all about promoting conservative values, not just saying, wait a second, I don't think I want to have drag time, story time for the kindergarten children. So he's actually doing something effective and meaningful. So it is possible. Our politicians could, if they had the will, if they had the backbone, could do this. But they don't. And like you said, the coalition, what did they do all that time in power to do something to remedy this?
Rita, they did it. For one thing, they didn't, you know, go and nuke the Australian curriculum, which they had 9 years to do. Alan Tudge had the opportunity to do that. He did not. Australian students have gone way downhill over the last 10, 20 years, really, arguably. But, you know, they need to remember that education is a bread and butter issue for parents, and it worked for Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. It worked for Ron DeSantis in Texas. It's worked in a lot of other states and jurisdictions where Republicans have done really, really well. I don't know why the coalition continues to cede this ground here in Australia.